You're listening to Cornhole Champions. I'm your host, Zachary Oren Smith. I'm sitting here with Amie Rivers and Liz Fleming. And for our third story, we've got a big investigation that we're launching. Not to make this episode all about my videos, but we have this. My grandmother, Mary Jane, died of lung cancer when she was pretty young. She was one of the women who raised me while my dad was deployed to Iraq. She was a smoker, and it was that choice that cost her maybe decades of life. Now I'm about to become a father, and there's a story that I keep thinking about. Iowa has the second highest cancer rate in the United States. We're the only state where the cancer rates are still rising, while everywhere else they're falling. This isn't just about cigarettes anymore. Today, Iowans face cancer risks they never chose. 3 out of 4 Iowa homes have dangerous radon levels. Thousands of wells contain nitrates. We use more pesticides per square mile than almost anywhere else in the country. That's why Iowa Starting Line is launching the Hotspot, investigating cancer in Iowa. Over the coming weeks, we'll dig into the environmental factors, policy failures, and systemic issues behind this crisis. We'll provide practical information about screening, water testing, and risk reduction. I want my daughter to inherit a state that prioritizes her health over corporate profits. Every cancer case represents someone's grandmother, parent, spouse, or child. These aren't just statistics. They're Iowans whose lives have been cut short. Follow our investigation, share your story. Help us build a healthier Iowa. Subscribe to Iowa Starting Line as we uncover what sits at the bottom of our state's cancer crisis. Thanks. We're digging in and we want to hear from you. Email me with your stories at zach@iowastartingline.com. We're interested in the work, in your experience of cancer, people in your life impacted by cancer. Kind of if you do research in the space, we would love to hear from kind of what you have going on. We're trying to expand out this conversation as far as we can. And to kick us off, in that video, I kind of talk about my relationship with cancer. Amie, I wanted to see if you kind of what's been your relationship with cancer over time.
Oh my God! So I lost my grandfather in 1996. I was 12. He actually died on election day. So that hit me pretty hard. Like that was the first major relative that had died of cancer that I knew. And then,
what was his name?
That was my grandfather, Pat Roof. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. He was cool. He was a big music lover, you know. And then I lost my mom. I talk about that a lot in 2017 to lung cancer. She wasn't a smoker, so they assume the radon, you know, that we have a lot of in Iowa was the culprit there.
Can you say a little bit about what radon is?
Radon is an invisible, undetectable radiation that comes up from the ground when there's old uranium deposits and other radioactive material decaying, I believe.
That's right. And the Midwest is one of these places where there's just a huge, there's just a lot of this, off-gassing is the wrong word, but there's a lot of this coming out of leaching out of the soil. And yeah, for folks in the Midwest, it's a tremendous concern about kind of how that impacts our health.
And you have to get your house tested. I mean, the places where you live and work have to be tested regularly. And if they're not, then that can sneak in and affect everyone without anybody knowing until there's a cancer cluster, basically. So,
yeah, we're planning to dig into radon and as part of this investigation. So more to come on that. Liz, what about you? What's your relationship with cancer?
So I actually lost one of my friends in 8th grade to a brain tumor. Her name was Katie. She was the best. It feels so weird that it's been so long, but she was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor when we were in 7th grade. And she battled for 395 days and eventually passed in Dubuque. And I feel like when you're 13, we were 13 at the time, you don't think too much about the actual illness. You just kind of see your friend deteriorating. And I am haunted by the memories of her mother doing everything she could for Katie to make sure that she was getting the best care that she could, that she was making trips, that she could experience life and joy. They went to Hawaii. They got her blessed at the Vatican. Like, they did absolutely everything. And unfortunately, Katie passed away in November of 2007. I think about her all the time, and it's so strange to, again, think how long it's been, but that was my first real encounter with cancer. I'm very lucky, and I'll knock on wood for this, that I don't have a family history of it.
That's great.
But it feels like every time I go home to Dubuque, I hear about somebody else I know, an old coworker, an old classmate, who is young and diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, or is given 6 months. There's someone I know who was given 6 months to live, and she is the mother of 2 small boys. It feels like it's creeping in more and more into people's lives and young people's lives.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm so sorry, Liz. I
Yeah.
lost
I'm
a
so
college
sorry.
roommate too in 2019, like just suddenly. She texted all of us. We sort of had scattered after college, and then she texted the group, and she was gone quick after that. It was we couldn't even get down there in time. This thing's
It's sad,
ridiculous.
but it's also very scary. We all have loved ones in Iowa who were living in a state that has the fastest growing rate of new cancers. And it could be anybody we know. This is a relatively small state, and these are just popping up in our neighborhoods, in our circles, and there's reason to be afraid of this. So I'm really thankful that the Iowa Starting Line is working on investigating this, digging into what's causing this, and sharing
Totally.
people's personal stories.
I think I think that why piece, right, is so important. We in each year the Iowa Cancer Registry, who we'll talk to in the next episode, so stay tuned to that. The Iowa Cancer Registry puts out a report that kind of documents the kind of numbers of cancers, what kinds of cancers, where they're located, kind of a portrait really of what cancer looks like in the state. And I'm sure everyone caught that Iowa having such a high rate this year in the spring, and I know it's something that's on my mind. It's clearly something that's on readers' mind. Since we announced this investigation, we've had a ton of folks reaching out, and some folks, and I hope that continues as we continue to try to build some momentum around this storytelling. But the thing I was most interested in with this project is, unfortunately, because of the way cancer works, because of the way that the kind of science around exposure works, we're never going to reach that point where there's I was in this room on this day, I got exposed to this thing, and it gave me this cancer, right?
Right.
That 1-to-1 is just it's never going to happen, right?
Right.
That will never be the line that we get. But that doesn't mean that there's nothing we can do about it. That doesn't mean that we should just that does not mean that we should say that that does not mean that we've done enough. And the reason I'm excited about this series is it's multidimensional, looking at the way air quality, the way farming practices, the way public policy informs what are our what is our ability to live a cancer-free life. And I'm excited that Iowa Starting Line is investing in this research, right? I'm taking 2 reporters that are normally off busy doing a podcast and a newsletter, and are sending us to work on this. Video correspondents who have a million other things they could be doing, but are making videos in this space. I'm really proud to be working for this masthead and doing this work. So stay tuned. Follow iowastartingline.com/newsletter. That's it's a good place to get these essays to your mailbox when they come out. You can
On
check
Tuesdays, every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. I think the next one is from you, right, Amy?
They're all from me.
They're all from you.
I mean,
They're
the
all from
newsletters.
you.
So in yesterday's newsletter, it was your column
Totally.
and my video. So.
And your dog.
As
I
thoughts.
can't wait for your dog's thoughts on Iowa's cancer crisis. That should be a really fun time.
He's a character. I'm just really glad to be doing some really meaningful journalism around this. We love doing stories about like people facing problems and what the potential solutions are and what our elected officials could or aren't doing about it. But tying it all together in this way, and because it's so personal for probably all of us, it just feels really meaningful to me, and I'm really glad and lucky to be able to do it.
Absolutely. I would echo that sentiment. I also want to draw attention to the fact that the current administration, the Reynolds administration in Iowa, their proposed solution was sending $1 million to research this. And in the words of Rob Sand, that is a mouse fart.
And they didn't even do it.
They didn't even do it. They bought a talking point to say we're doing something about cancer. They're not.
Right.
And we deserve better than that. It reminds me of, I'm an Austin Powers girly, when
Okay.
Dr. Evil's like $1 million. And they're like, yeah, that's like no money. Sure, dude. Like, it's something like that where it's like,
Yeah.
let's get actually serious about this instead of just saying, here's $1 million, figure it out. That's not
Exactly.
meaningful change. And people see right through that.
When doctors are leaving, when you're already starving our region's universities, including the U of I, which is on the forefront of cancer research in the state, stop doing that, first of all. Then put meaningful money behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think Amie has a story coming out about those funding cuts, both federally and statewide, that we've seen in our R&D work for cancer. So stay tuned for that. That was another episode of Cornhole Champions. If you like the show, here are some things you can do to support this work here. 1, go subscribe to the show at our home on youtube.com. Like and subscribe to help grow this platform. 2, get my newsletter and get these episodes straight to your email every Wednesday morning. That's at cornholechampions.substack.com. 3, catch up on the work. Follow us at Iowa Starting Line's Instagram and TikTok. You're going to see a little bit from me and Amie. You're going to see a lot of Liz from Iowa on there. So check us out. And then 4, sign up for Iowa Starting Line's flagship newsletter at iowastartingline.com/newsletter. Cornhole Champions is a weekly podcast powered by Iowa Starting Line. This podcast was produced by me and edited by our brand new producer, Rebecca Steinberg. Welcome to the team, Rebecca. I'm a huge fan already. Our music is by Avery Mossman, and our show art is by Desirée Tapia. Cornhole Champions is a proud member of the Iowa Writers Collaborative. We'll see you with a new episode next Wednesday. Until then, I'm Zachary Oren Smith.
I'm Amie Rivers.
I'm Liz Fleming.
Thanks for listening.